Well, today's ride goes between Woking and Staines. Just want to make these videos so that you get an idea of what the surface conditions are like and whether the route would suit the sort of riding that you do and whether you might enjoy it, and particularly any hazards to look out for. And particularly we want to get you cycling because it's such a great way to get around if you live anywhere near the Basingstoke Canal. We'd love you to like and subscribe to this channel. We've got nearly 100 rides in all sorts of different areas. What you can find here is that on our Komoot page, where you can find a link below, then you can download a GPX file, so if you're not confident of navigating, you can find your way there. This is going to Staines, which for those of you that are unfamiliar is just south of Heathrow, but it's near Weybridge and all the gravel pits and workings that are around there. We start off in Bisley and Knaphill, but you can start anywhere with easy access to the Basingstoke Canal. We follow that all along, as many of our routes will do, and then we turn left and join the River Wey and follow the Wey really only as far as Weybridge, and then we'll cut up and across just a little bit overground in front of St George's College in Weybridge, and then that's all on cycle path, and then back down into Staines beside the river. So here we are following along Basingstoke Canal, the River Wey, and then we cut off in Weybridge, and now we're on the NCR4, which follows along parallel to the River Thames. And then we stopped at a park and headed our way back. The river was flooded and it was coming across the cycle path in many places, but that just made it a little bit more interesting. It wasn't too deep to cycle through. So here we go, back along, and then as always take a slightly different route around the back just to get back to our part of Knaphill. So about 30 miles from the Garibaldi pub in Knaphill, so probably less from where you are. So this first couple of minutes, you can see this is road. This is officially cycle path because it leads up to Winston Churchill School, and now it'll take us to St John's. And now we are on the Basingstoke Canal in St John's, and the quality of the surface along here is really good. It's fairly hard packed. There are parts which have got a lot of leaves on it, but it shouldn't be enough to destabilise your route in any shape or form. So just be aware of lots of other users on the Basingstoke Canal, and we would definitely recommend you using a bell. There was one point where it does actually pop you out around one of the bridges and back again, and you should follow that rather than trying to squeeze your way underneath. But here we are approaching Woking now. We've done this lots of times, so many of our videos. Here's the spiral bridge, as we call it, going over the top of the canal in Woking. It's not easy to do on a tandem, it's actually quite tight. And then we follow along through the far side of Woking. This is a very peaceful part. We're going to go down underneath this bridge, and from here on it does get a little bit more muddy. But the truth is that actually it's not bad at all. So this is one of the better bits of the ride that you've got in terms of surface. So a little bit muddy over here. There will be runners. Keep your bell ringing on a regular basis whenever you get anywhere near somebody. Don't just wait till you're almost bearing down upon them. Some of them can hear from a distance. Some of them won't hear even if you're behind them because they've got headphones on and they're listening to music. But here we go. Working our way past the locks and just go underneath that bit of road, and this final section here, there's a bit of a chicane that we meet not long after these locks. And this time we went slightly different in that we actually, rather than working our way through the chicane just after this car park, so we actually went right of it, and there's an old track that runs along, so we ran parallel to the towpath and then rejoined it towards the end just to see, because we haven't done that for a while. Here we go, we're in Byfleet and we cross over the bridge, and do get off and walk over the bridge when you cross. And now the River Wey do be very careful here. Not only are there quite a lot of people, but also it's really muddy in places, so it's quite poorly managed. And although it doesn't look too bad here, and this bit you just have to cross over a small road and then we're back again. It's not too busy. That's on the edge of Addlestone. So you can see how slippery and muddy it is here, and our back wheel did kick out a few times. So it shouldn't be quite so bad for those of you on solo bikes, but on a tandem it definitely does kick out. And in some parts it was really bad. We get past Cox's Lock here. That's a great place to go if you just want to go that far. It's a nice little morning out. You can have a nice cup of coffee there. And now we head on, and we don't have to go much further through this muddy bit, over the bridge, and on the edge of Weybridge we turn left into this industrial estate. And you just need to get to the main road. You can walk. Now we joined it here and we stayed on this side of the road and then crossed over later. But on retrospect, it was better to cross almost immediately using the set of traffic lights that they had. This is a busy road, but you can see this is a cycle path, and we've got St George's Hill College on our right, and then we drop down here, and now we're just going through a few parks, round the back of a few places before we get to the Chertsey Bridge, where we're going to cross. So follow around through here. It's well marked. Now that was a boat sales, and it's worth remembering that, because when we come back we've got to find our way. This is Chertsey Bridge. We're going to cross over the bridge, and then we just need to cross the road. And now we're adjacent to the Thames, and we follow along with the Thames on our left the whole of the way, really into Staines. You can see it was flooded in several places, probably too deep for cars. This one was very deep, but not too deep for bikes. We're not likely to get much of a bow wave ahead of us. So we're now heading along through, and we're going through the edge of Laleham here, and it's more flooding. As you can see, this one was a bit deep. That caught somebody out coming back, and occasionally we just have to take a bit of towpath or footpath that we've got here, but it is still formally National Cycle Route 4. So now with the river on our left, lots to see. The boats are interesting. Some of the boats are at the bottom of the water. Going through this gate, just be careful here. They do recommend in that little section there that you get off and walk, but there was nobody there. So now we follow along to the outskirts of Staines here, and you can see occasionally bits of mud there. This is a reinforced track across that piece of green, and now we're back onto tarmac. And it's only at the last minute when we get into Staines that we have to just leave the side of the river for a while, and we're now going to head just very briefly back out into the town, just up here, and then cut through the edge. It's still the official cycle track. It takes us through a car park, and then we're back. So we come under here, just join this cycle track that you've got on the side of the road here, and back into the car park, and now we're back against the river, and it's about as far as you can go. But we stopped here and had a bite to eat and just had a little look around, and then you can see that it's a lovely place to observe the river, and then we turned round and headed back. So the quality of the surface on the Thames is generally pretty good, other than the flooding. On the Wey, it's really muddy, and then on the Basingstoke Canal, it's pretty good as well, and that will take you back to where you need to go. Just be aware as well, we're heading almost directly south now, but certain times of the year the sun can reflect, not only shining directly at you, but it can be reflecting off the water at times, and it can be really, really bright. So I would recommend having a pair of sunglasses when you're cycling anywhere near water. It also can be a little bit breezy, and you do need to be careful of the other people that you've got around. Now that person was struggling to get through that bit of flooding there, and then we get towards the edge of Laleham. There's like a campsite on the left there, and that was completely flooded. Here's a bit more flooding, and then under again. So we gradually head back. I've speeded this bit up even further because we're going to get to Chertsey Bridge here, and the key thing is, as we head here, we need to go right of that building that's full of boats. That's the key thing. It's very easy to miss it and end up in their yard, but it should be well signposted, but you don't always see the little blue signs telling us where the NCR is. So we now follow up past St George's College in Weybridge, and we're going to get to, this time we're going to go a bit further and then cross at the traffic lights. So we waited there, crossed over back into that industrial estate and over the bridge, and now we can start heading back along the River Wey. And it was not quite so muddy and slippery, but we did actually lose it at one point and have to put our feet down. So that was just there, and now we can carry on. But be aware that at certain times of the year it can be a little bit unpleasant. I think we lost it there as well. But now crossing over the road, round that little corner, and back onto the edge of the Wey. This bit's not quite so bad, but you do get roots across the road, and those roots across the track can be a bit of a nuisance. But now we just go under the M25, over the little bridge, and now we are on the Basingstoke Canal. But be aware that the Basingstoke Canal at about 3:30, 4 o'clock, 3:30, it's full of school kids on their way home from BDB, and there's also, as you get towards 4, 5, you get a lot of dog walkers and runners at the end of the day. So here we are fading away, and I think I'll let the video just run itself out. Please like and subscribe. As I say, we've got the GPX that you can find, and there's more details available on our Komoot page. Do leave a comment for us, because that's really helps if you put a comment underneath, and particularly, and if you hit like, and if you can subscribe, that's great. That will help us make more and more of these videos. Anyway, we'll see you on the next ride. Take care. Bye for now.